to another episode of Reading from Convergence, Book 1 of the Dragon Within Saga. I'm thrilled that you're still tuning in after my horrible reading, and the writing is much better than my reading, so please stay and listen. We're going to pick right up again in chapter 23, where we just heard Ronnie Alden say that he and his mother and sister just were not going to have enough food to probably last through this winter. So let's continue on. "What?" said Zendalia, who had been loosely following the conversation. "What do you mean we will not have enough to last the winter? What does that mean?" "It means that the two of you are now tasked to finding us a new home in new lands," she said without waiting for Roni to answer her sister's question. "A new home, but I have heard rumors of plentiful lands to the north, not even a week's journey away. You need to do this. You have said it yourself, Roni, that we will not have enough supplies to last through the winter, and I intend on seeing both of you to live well beyond that." Roni was the first to speak up in real protest. "But Drashin, we cannot leave you here by yourself. Father would never approve of that." "He certainly would approve of this. Your father would have done whatever he needed to do to keep our family together for as long as he could. And if that meant sending you two on a mission to find us a new home because this one lacked the means to sustain all four of us, then he would be the first one to suggest it." And she was correct in her assumption of her late husband's actions. "But Mother," shouted Zendalia, "I do not want to leave this home. What if we were to plant more plants in your garden so we could have more food for the winter?" "It is not just the food Mother is right about. It is all the other supplies we need to purchase. And we cannot have the coins to purchase them if we do not have the animal pelts to first sell to the tanners. If you had come with me on the last year's trading trip, you would understand better," Roni said in a voice illustrating his resignation to his mother's truth. "What are you talking about, Roni?" said Zin, still resisting his argument. "We had plenty to get through last winter. I saw the stock after the weather finally broke." "You very well could have, but what you do not know is that the leftover stock was made possible because of the plentiful yield from our lands from years before. We cannot last this year." Growing in frustration, his voice increased in both pitch and volume. "We need to do this. Mother is right." Looking to her mother to see if she held any signs of contradiction to her brother's claims, she slowly lowered her head when all she saw was empathy returned and a teary-eyed acknowledgement of the moment's truth. They had to leave. "But why can you not come with us, Mother? I did not understand why you cannot come with us." Again, striving to reach and grasp onto something neither her brother nor her mother could argue with, she searched all of her resources to find a reason they could not refute. Seeing the desperation in the young woman's eyes, her mother stepped in and spoke as she stood and walked over to her daughter to embrace where she sat. "Oh, my little Ecklerin, I need to stay here to tend the house and garden in case you return without finding a new home for us. We cannot just give it up to anyone who happens to wander past." "I did not think of it that way. I just do not want to leave our home," she said as she nuzzled into her mother's embrace. "I know, my little Zendalia, but you and your brother must leave to ensure our lives for years into the future. It is not something I have wished for, but it is very much a reality right now." With a whimper of resignation, Zin said, "When do we have to leave?" "It would probably be best if we leave as soon as we are equipped," said Roni, breaking the silence he held while witnessing the discourse between his mother and sister. "But I do not believe we have enough provisions to leave this morning. It will take me some time to get everything we need ready. Maybe I can be ready to leave by tomorrow morning. That is, if I have a successful day hunting." Now that she had their agreement that they had to leave and that it had to be just the two of them, she could no longer prevent her emotions from her deception and the betrayal of their trust from descending with the force of an avalanche. Even though she was resolutely set upon the completion of the angel's instructions, she could not help but question her own mechanics of persuasion. Would it have been better to speak the absolute truth and risk being disbelieved, resulting in the death of her children, and ultimately part of God's plan concerning them? If this was indeed from God and delivered by one of his messengers, then should not the truth have been sufficient to result in the actions necessary? Not disregarding the undeniable presence of the angel, she still was unable to shake the foreboding of letting go and allowing the angel's words to come to fruition without employing her deception. Sure, she could reason her choice for subterfuge away by acknowledging that this was too important to leave to chance, that by any means necessary this endeavor must be seen to its end. After all, her life was sacrificed so that her children might live and fulfill their calling. Before taking root in her mind and reaching the first marker, before gaining entrance into her heart, she was able to stop the emotions of betrayal and justify her actions as necessary. But therein was another dilemma. Was she doing this as another necessary deception for herself, so she could complete what was required of her? Or was this a truth of her circumstances, an unavoidable and singular path called upon by the angelic messenger who delivered a message directly from God? Ending her inner discourse, she heard a semi-shrill voice carrying annoyance and worry as she heard her daughter almost shout, "Mother, are you okay?" Being jolted, yet hiding it well, she responded to her daughter's request, who had obviously borne witness to her mother's assimilation into a place removed from the conversation currently occupying her attention. Yes, Zen, I do agree that tomorrow morning will be a good time to leave. It will allow your brother and yourself to gather the supplies you need. Plus, it will give us all a chance to say goodbye. She held back tears as she said the final word. And on that final word, we're going to end today's reading. We're going to pick up again next time, again in chapter 23, to see what evolves now. So thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and disregard my poor reading, and buy the book. Have a great day, everyone, and always remember to release your dragon within. Thank you.